Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Open Mic here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. Now, every day on the John Campea Show in the mornings, our main movie news show, we save a couple of minutes to take some live questions. But here in the afternoons, that's all we do on Open Mic is take all open live questions. You guys dictate the terms and you guys dictate the topics that we talk about here today. So, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. And we're going to start things off with number Thor, who writes in, favorite Pierce Brosnan, a Bond movie. Oh, Bond movie. Well, you got to go with GoldenEye, don't you? I mean, really. I mean, like Die Another Day and all that. Well, he's got one or two really bad ones. He's got one's not so bad, but yeah, I think GoldenEye. I think that would probably, if you did a survey with 100 people, I'm sure probably at least 70 of them would say GoldenEye. Now, on top of that, a lot of people will really fondly think of GoldenEye and remember GoldenEye because, you know, it was also a fantastic video game. So there was that too. So yeah, I'm going to go, my favorite Pierce Brosnan Bond movie is GoldenEye, which I think was also his first, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, ZOMG Ruler writes, thoughts on Con L, Connor Kent, Superboy. Don't really read it, so I really don't have any opinions on it. Sorry, ZOMG. Let's see. Rodrigo Ortiz writes, if Timothée Chalamet gives another good performance with Beautiful Boy, then it's time to keep an eye out for him, potentially to be an A-list actor, hopefully. Well, look, the dude is coming off of an Academy Award nomination, like one of the youngest guys ever to have an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, right? So he's got that going for him already. Good stuff. Now, this new trailer called Beautiful Boy comes out. If you haven't seen it, it's a new movie he's doing with Amy Ryan and Steve Carell. And yes, Amy Ryan and Steve Carell were a couple on The Office, and they're back here again. And the trailer was haunting. I mean, it's a fantastic trailer that completely pulled me in. And honestly, when I first read the synopsis about it, you know, a dad struggling, his son's got has a drug addiction, blah, blah. It's like, oh, God, one of these? Come on. And then I saw the trailer. Totally won me over. And look, if Chalamet gives a performance that's on par with what he did in Call Me By Your Name, he does not then become a guy that you got to keep your eye on. If he turns in a performance as good as he did in Call Me By Your Name, he's going to get another Academy Award nomination. And if he gets like back-to-back years of a Best Actor nomination at the Academy Awards, it's not somebody you got to keep an eye out for. It's somebody who is now on your radar. It's now somebody who's on your list. And yeah, look, he doesn't necessarily need to get an Academy Award nomination, but if he does get an Academy Award nomination for this, he's now A-list. You go back-to-back years with the Best Leading Actor Academy Award nomination back-to-back, you're on the A-list. And I'll put him there. He's still young, but I would firmly put him on the A-list. Now, you might be able to do that even if he doesn't get an Academy Award nomination. I'm just saying that if he does, you gotta consider him on the A-list. At least I would. Okay, let's see. Next up comes to us from Andrew Oldham, who writes, Hereditary car scene, most disturbing scene in a film this year. Oh, dude, it's like one of the most disturbing scenes of the past 10 or 20 years. Look, I know a lot of you guys still haven't seen Hereditary. I was late to the party on Hereditary. Just keep your windows rolled up, kids. That's all I'm going to say. Keep your windows rolled up. But, yeah, I'm not going to describe anything about it for those of you who haven't seen it, but it is, and you know, you used the right word, Andrew, disturbing. It's like some people I've heard call it such a scary scene. It's like, no, I don't know that scary's the right word for that scene. I think, Andrew, you really used the right word. It's disturbing. And I already used the word once today, but it's haunting. It will stay with you after you walk out of the theater. So not going to say anything else. So when you get around to watching Hereditary and it happens, you'll know exactly the scene that Andrew's talking about. See, number Thor writes, thoughts on Jamie Foxx movie, The Kingdom. That one, what, came out like 2007, 2008, 2009, in there somewhere. I remember, like, it had Chris Cooper, and he was great in it. It also had Jason Bateman, Jennifer Garner, who, you know, I have a big crush on Jennifer Garner. Honestly, I didn't think the film was all that great. I really didn't. I thought it was one of these movies that was really aiming to take advantage of the period context than anything else. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. but I just found it never really flowed as a movie very well for me. So yeah, honestly, not one of my favorites. Number 34 follows it up with thoughts on the TV show Dog the Bounty Hunter. Never watched it, so I really can't give, never really watched it, so I really can't give an opinion on it. Manuel Fernandez writes, thoughts on the new trailer for the DC Universe, classic modern TV and film, live action animation, original content, and even comic books to read. How pumped are you? Also, new Robin photo looks great. It was terrible. Honestly, nothing. There was nothing special about that little teaser trailer at all. Nothing. I'm not saying the service isn't going to be good, but there was literally nothing special in that thing, and it literally didn't tell us anything that we didn't already know, or at least suspect to a great deal. So again, we're just talking about the spot. We're not talking about the service itself. The service itself, that's a different topic altogether. But as far as the spot itself goes, honestly, I watched, I thought, really? That's your first big media piece they're putting out, is this? So yeah, honestly, I wasn't pumped about it. I am curious about the service itself. I can't remember, was there a Swamp Thing logo in there though? Because that was one of the things that really got me interested about the whole DC streaming service, was a Swamp Thing idea. But it'll be interesting to see what direction they're going to go with Harley Quinn and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, I'm curious about the service, but I just thought honestly, I thought the little commercial was meh at best. I thought they could have done a much better job with it, to be honest with you. Let's see. Number Thor writes, thoughts on the movie Lake Placid. Oh, with Betty White and Jane Fonda's daughter, Bridget Fonda. Is that who was in it? Anyway, whatever. I love that movie. I do. I love Lake Placid with a giant alligator or crocodile, whatever it was, and Betty White's in it. I love that movie. The sequel was terrible. Oh, you know who else is in it? The guy who played one of the Musketeers. Oh, and I love this dude, and I'm forgetting his name. He played Porthos in that Three Musketeers movie. And it's not Chris O'Donnell, and but it is that Three Musketeers movie. It's not Chris O'Donnell. I think it's Chris something. Oh, and it's tearing me up because I love that actor too. But anyway, he's in that movie as well. Yeah, if you haven't seen Lake Placid, it's a cheesy little horror film about a giant crocodile, but it's also a comedy. It's quite funny. Betty White rules in it, and yeah, it's a fun little movie. It is a real fun little movie. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, do check it out. Zombatron writes, dream MCU meetup will probably never get. For me, it's Spider-Man and Thor. And alternatively, best MCU meetup. Isn't that the same question? For me, it's Thor. Oh, and the Guardians. I don't really think that I have a dream meetup, to be honest with you, for any of the MCU characters. The best one, though, I think it might be Cap and that one scene in the first Avengers movie with Cap and Iron Man, and Thor shows up to take Loki. And the three of them have that short, brief battle in the woods. That was a great meetup scene. I loved that scene. That scene was great. It's one of the, that was a scene that made me go, oh my God, this movie's really something special. I got so hyped for that scene. But yeah, that's probably the one that's top of my list for now. Let's see. Ben Kenobi writes, what happens to X-Men TV shows like The Gifted and Legion if the deal with Disney happens? Also, The Gifted Season 2 is coming September 25th. Honestly, I don't know. It really all depends on, I know Legion is on FX, and Gifted is on Fox. So I think those are owned entirely. So what would happen to them, I don't know. If Disney wins this, I mean, if Comcast wins, I think everything stays the way it is. The Fox network will still exist. They'll still run their shows, blah, blah, blah. So everything would stay the same. If Disney wins, I don't know. Maybe they just get scrapped, or maybe they get moved to, a television network. Maybe they get moved to the Disney streaming service. So these are all possibilities as well. So yeah, it's a good question. I'm not really sure. And I'm very, very excited for The Gifted to come back. I really like that show a lot. Okay. Adamus95 writes, I don't know if you remember, but there was a show called Danny Phantom. Never heard of it. And it was awesome. A unique animated superhero show with one of the best theme songs. I would love a movie adaptation of the show. I'll be honest with you, I've never even heard of the thing. Let me look it up here. Maybe if I see an image, it'll jog my memory. Nope, I'm looking at images and I have no recollection of this whatsoever. So I've never heard of it. Maybe there's probably a bunch of you guys who have heard of it and know exactly what Adamus is talking about. And if you have, leave your comments on it. What do you think about the show? But yeah, and it apparently was out in 2005. Nickelodeon. I think in 2005, I was still living in Canada, and I don't think we had Nickelodeon in Canada. So honest God, I've never even heard of this show, to be honest with you. Sorry about that, Adamus. Donaldo Martinez writes, as I'm watching the World Cup, I wonder, could we ever get a Pele biopic? Well, I don't know enough about his life. Like, was he just, I mean, legendary soccer player? Even people who don't follow soccer, like this guy, have heard of Pele. But I don't, like, was he a jerk? Was he a bad person? Did he have a boring life other than what he did on the soccer field? Did he have an interesting, like, I just have no idea. So since I know nothing about the actual story of Pele, it's really difficult to give an opinion as to whether or not we'll get a movie about his life. You know, they're like Tonya Harding. With all the drama surrounding Tonya Harding, yes, you make a movie about Tonya Harding. And so we got I, Tonya, right? Great movie, by the way. If you still haven't seen Margot Robbie and I, Tonya, check it out. It's great. But since I don't know anything about Pele's life, I couldn't even venture the slightest guess. First of all, would it even be interesting? Is there even interesting subject matter there to make a movie out of it? Then would it have enough wide appeal that people would watch it? I mean, so there's a lot of questions, but since I don't know anything about his life, it's tough for me to answer that. But now with the World Cup going on, it is the right time to ask the question for sure. Donaldo follows it up with, I had no idea Pedro Pascal is in Equalizer 2. More excited now. This dude, here's the thing, Pedro Pascal, right? So most people first took notice of him as the Viper in Game of Thrones, right? He was great in Game of Thrones. And now he's in Narcos. He's great in Narcos. And then he's in Kingsman 2, and he was not mentioned in the marketing at all. Pedro Pascal of Game of Thrones and like one of the hottest shows on streaming television, Narcos. And what did they do? They pumped and promote Channing Tatum, who's in Kingsman 2 for like 5 minutes. Whereas Pedro Pascal is a major character in that film. And other than showing a couple of quick clips of him, they never mentioned starring Pedro Pascal. They just kind of kept him completely out of it. And again, now with Equalizer 2, I remember the first time he popped up in the trailer, I'm like, wait a minute, Pedro Pascal's in this thing? I'm like, I don't know why the marketing people, considering the popularity of Game of Thrones, considering the popularity of Narcos, and just considering how damn good this dude is, I have no idea why these filmmakers are not putting Pedro Pascal front and center in their marketing. Look, marketing, you don't owe anything to any actors when it comes to the marketing. Oh, we owe it to him to put him in the marketing. No, it's not that at all. Your marketing is to sell the movie. You do whatever you need to do to sell the movie. But I am telling you, with the popularity of Game of Thrones, with the popularity of Narcos, all that kind of stuff, Pedro Pascal is a name I think that would get some attention. I mean, you don't put his name over Denzel Washington or nothing like that, but his name will get attention. So I honestly don't know why these movies like Kingsman 2 or this are not more actively taking advantage of this dude and the fact that he is in your projects and in your movies. Market that. Not for him, but because it'll sell tickets. Like, I honestly, I don't know why people don't push that more. So yes, I'm totally with you on that. Another reason to be excited by Equalizer 2, on top of the fact that I love the first one. I think Antoine Fuqua is a great director. It's Denzel, and you got Pedro Pascal in there. So, I mean, yet another good reason to be excited about it. Okay. Number Thor writes, Conan versus Aragorn. Who wins? Oh, Conan. Conan probably wins. Aragorn's a king, you know? He's not a straight up warrior. He's a great fighter. He's a great warrior, but he is primarily royal blood. And he's a good, noble king and leader. And he can do everything else too. But Conan is a pure machine of destruction. So yeah. Lord of the Rings is the better movie than Conan. It hurts to say that because I love Conan, but Conan would take Aragorn in a fight. I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty safe about what, like, honestly, is there any of you guys, do you think any of you think that Conan would lose in a fight to Aragorn? Strider, in other words? Let me know what you guys think. All right. Ben Kenobi writes, biggest pet peeve in shows. Mine, dumb parents on kids shows. Biggest pet peeve in shows? I don't know. I guess I just don't watch enough. I don't watch enough television to really know. Like I have big pet peeves of, you know, things that constantly people go to in movies and things like that. Like the whole, people can clean up after sex in 20 seconds. No, not really. Or the whole, I need to tell you something. Tell me. No, meet me on Death Peak at midnight. Then you know that person's going to die. Or when the hero is in love with the girl, but the girl has a boyfriend, the boyfriend is a jerk, because that's what they do. So I've got lots of those, but TV specific? I can't think of any TV specific ones off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I mean, that one, yeah, having parents, portraying parents as dumb, that's definitely a pet peeve for sure. But I can't think of any others I have that are specific to me. So let me think about that. Let's see. Number Thor follows up. Thanos with where'd he go? Fully powered gauntlet versus Superman. Who wins? Superman only vulnerable to kryptonite, and without kryptonite in the glove, can Thanos win? Nah, Superman wins that fight. Superman beats Thanos. Now, I know a lot of you screaming at your computer monitors at me right now, but sorry, if I'm writing that story, Superman wins that fight. I mean, look, whenever you ask a question, who wins in a fight, this character or this character, really the answer is it depends on who's writing it. One guy will write it where one guy wins. One guy will write it where the other guy wins. And that's who wins. So it really all depends who writes it. If I'm writing Superman versus Thanos, Superman wins. Because he's Superman. So yeah, that's how I would have it go up. But really, ultimately, it doesn't matter why it would, if that were to ever happen in a story, and it never will, who wins is ultimately decided by whoever's writing it. And whoever the writer feels like saying wins, that's who wins. But if I'm writing it, Superman wins. Let's see. Vinder Singh just sends in a super chat. Thank you, Vinder. Murray Reich writes, is Morbius film going to be like Venom, anti-hero? Well, I think so, but you know, in the comics themselves, Morbius has often been portrayed as kind of the anti-hero, right? Like, he's had heroic turns in the comics, like his big feud with Blade notwithstanding. There are comic runs where he is kind of an anti-hero anyway. So if you're making him the lead character, yes, I foresee them probably him being a heroic character. Anti-hero maybe, but heroic nonetheless. So, now nobody has said anything officially, obviously. And for those of you who missed the news and didn't hear about it, we talked about it this morning. Jared Leto has been cast to play Morbius the Living Vampire from the SpiderMan comics in a standalone movie for the Sony Spider-less universe. And of course, we got Venom coming out in October. We've got Silver and Black coming, and now we got Morbius coming. So, interesting. But yeah, my assumption here, Murray, would be they would be going the anti-hero route. I think that's for sure. And that would be consistent with the comics. At least some run of the comics. Okay, just going to let you know, guys, too. I've got a couple of movies I need to run to this afternoon. One starts a little bit early, so today's show's probably going to be cut a little bit shorter than normal. Not terribly short. Like, it's not only going to be like a half hour or anything like that, but might cut it a little bit short just so I can get over to my movies. Patrick Conway writes, what do you think of Daredevil's no-kill rule? Well, I mean, it's fine, but look, Green Arrow's had a no-kill rule either, and then that comes and goes. And I'm sure with Daredevil, it'll come and go as well. Plus, I think no-kill rules with superheroes are ridiculous. And the reason I find them ridiculous is because they do... I was talking about this with the Batman one the other day. Because these characters do things to their enemies that very well could kill them. They just get super lucky that they don't die when they do these horrible things. You know, every time you punch somebody square in the face, you could kill them. I mean, that's just reality. Yeah, you hit somebody just the right way, you could cause a brain aneurysm, you could do, I mean, you could kill them. You know, you do some of the nightmare stuff Batman does to people in the comics, and then say, oh, but Batman has a rule that doesn't kill. Well, he could have just killed 8 dudes. Like, throwing a guy off of a 3-story drop, landing with his knees in his chest. Like, I remember reading one comic and, like, thinking, that would have killed that guy. That would have, and Batman's thinking, he'll go to the hospital with 7 fractured ribs and blah, blah, he'll be in traction for 3 months. And like, no, Batman. That dude would be dead. His ribs would have collapsed down into his lungs, exploding his heart. He would be dead. So this whole, the heroes who say we won't kill thing, I mean, maybe not killing on purpose is one thing, but like I said, we've also had that in like the CW universe where Arrow's had a rule, we don't kill. And now he kills everybody. Like he just kills fools left, right, and center. What time is it? 2:30. Oh, time to kill somebody. Bing! And then he kills somebody, right? So that happens all the time. I have a feeling we're going to see that happening with Daredevil a bunch. Let's see. Murray Reich writes, what's the worst Arnold movie? Oh. You know, my first thought is to say Batman and Robin. Hold on a second. But that's not really his movie, you know? He's like third credit guy in that. Terminator Genesis. Twins was awesome. You know what? A lot of people see 2013, 5 years ago, he had that little film come out called Last Stand. It was like his return. I think it was his first movie after being governor. That movie did not do well, but it's a fun little movie. If you get a chance, check out Arnold Schwarzenegger's Last Stand. True Lies is my all-time favorite action film. A lot of people didn't like Sabotage. I didn't think Sabotage was all that good. Maggie was pretty good. Kindergarten Cop I didn't like. Junior was terrible. Junior was terrible. Yeah, so I might go Junior. Yeah, I'll say Junior. Like I said, I would say Batman and Robin, except I wouldn't really classify that as his movie. But Junior with Danny DeVito, 1994, that's some special kind of awful to me. Let's see. Patrick Conway writes, Love Widow's line, we don't want to kill you, but we will. Oh, in Infinity War, yeah. We don't want to kill you, but we will. And it's the way she says it. That's the badass part of it. It's like, we don't want to kill you, but we will. That can come across as a very mundane line. But the way Scarlett Johansson says it, we don't want to kill you, but we will. I mean, it's just something that's kind of bone-chilling, the way she says it, right? Like something really, really bone-chilling about the way she says it. So, yeah, I like that line a lot. It's a good line. All right. Rami J. Royster writes, you underestimated my power, Anakin. Anakin Skywalker, 2005. Yeah, I mean, oh my God. Don't even... Like, you could have a contest of the worst lines in the prequels, and we'd be sitting here all day coming up with new lines. Whether it's a line about sand, or I hate them, or you underestimate power, I have the high ground, or Piusa. We could sit here all day listing off the truly horrible lines to which any one of them could have sunk any movie. And yet these films are filled with about 40 of them or 400 of them, and we could list them off all day. So yeah, that's certainly one of the special ones, Rami. All right, let's see. Vince Carter of Mars. I like that. That's creative. I like that. Vince Carter of Mars writes, hey, John, love the show. Thank you so much, Vince. And just became a Patreon supporter. Double thank you, Vince. Thank you so much for that, man. You guys are the reason this show's even able to be on the air. Have you ever seen Dodgeball with Vince Vaughn? If so, I love Dodgeball. I love Dodgeball. If you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball. If you can dodge wrenches, you can dodge a ball. That movie is awesome. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. There's the line that you got to put on a leather jacket. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. I love that movie. I think Dodgeball is like, oh gosh, you know what? Probably in my top 20. probably in my top 20 favorite comedies ever. I could sit down and watch that anytime. Like, it's in the same vein for me as like Grandma's Boy, Zoolander, Dodgeball. Like, it's in that company for me. And I love all those movies. Dodgeball's great. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Make sure you watch it. Watch it with some buddies. Prepare to laugh your ass off. It's great. I absolutely love that movie. And Vince Vaughn is really good in it. Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller, a whole bunch of people you'll recognize in it. Really, really sharp movie. If you haven't seen it, make sure you watch Dodgeball. Let's see here. Preston Walden writes, could Sony have their own Spider-Man and keep Spider-Man in the MCU? No. From what I have been told, according to the terms of the deal, as long as Sony has Spider-Man in the MCU, they cannot do their own live-action Spider-Man. I remember for a while thinking, oh, you know what? You could have a Miles Morales Spider-Man over here. And they are doing a Miles Morales animated Spider-Man, but from my understanding, what I have been told is that according to the terms of the deal with the MCU, with Marvel, that as long as Sony has Spider-Man over in the MCU, they will not make other Spider-Man films, live action. So, no. Now, we talked about this morning on the John Campea show. The deal between Sony and Marvel is over after Spider-Man Far From Home. After the next standalone Spider-Man movie, which comes after Avengers 4, that's it. The deal's done. So the question is going to become, does Sony go, hey, you know what? We have profited. This has been a good arrangement for us. We have profited from this partnership with Marvel. We're going to keep doing it. And Marvel's going to go, we have profited as Marvel having Spider-Man in our MCU. We want to keep this deal going. So maybe, I think the likelihood here is that they will extend the deal or sign a new deal entirely. However, there does exist a possibility, however unlikely, that, you know, if Venom comes out, and Venom kicks all kinds of ass, because Venom's coming in October. I got to tell you, I love the trailer. And you got a great lead in Tom Hardy. So if Venom comes out and audiences really like it, and it makes 450, maybe 500 million, that could embolden Sony to go, you know what, MCU, thanks a lot. This has been a great experiment, but we're taking Spider-Man back now into our own Sonyverse. That could happen. That could happen. But to answer the question directly, no. To the best of my understanding, no. Sony cannot have Spider-Man in their live-action universe as long as they have Spider-Man over in the MCU. They'll have to take him back before they can do their own live-action movies, as I understand it. So I could be incorrect about that, but that is the information that's been given to me. So we'll have to see how that all works out. Okay. Next one. Also, Preston follows it up with, seeing Tag tonight with A-List. Yeah, I'm using my A-List tonight. For those of you who don't know what A-List is, it's the new Amazon. It's the new AMC subscription movie service. $20 a month. You get to see 3 movies a week. And it includes all the theaters, IMAX, 3D, Prime, Dolby, dine-in theaters. You book your tickets online in advance. It's glorious. You can see multiple movies in the same day. I'm using A-List tonight to see 2 movies. Could never do that with Cinemia or MoviePass. I'm seeing 2 movies tonight. I'm watching Sicario 2, and I'm going to go watch Won't You Be My Neighbor again. And why am I seeing Won't You Be My Neighbor again? Because I can. Because I got AMC A-List. So yeah, I'm using that tonight. And you going to see Tag, man, good choice. Tag is a real nice little movie. You guys, we've been talking a lot about it because it's funny. A lot of people have been writing in saying, John, I got my AMC A-List membership. And it seems like everybody is using it to go see Tag. It's like everybody heard it was good, but they weren't sure if it was good enough to actually spend money on to go see. But now that they got A-List, they're going to go see it. Now everybody's flooding out to see Tag. I'm telling you what, I like Tag a lot. Not going to be in the top 10 movies of the year, nothing like that. It's probably not even going to be the best comedy of the year, but it is a nice little film. Some good laughs, some good heart to it. It's a charming comedy. I think you're going to have a good time tonight, Preston, when you get yourself out there to see it and enjoy it. Make sure you write in. Let me know what your experience is like. So far, to me, I got to tell you, I booked my tickets yesterday, and it was all done on the app. You don't need a card. It's all done on your AMC app. I just think, oh, I want to see that movie. And it says, ticket, $15.42 minus $15.42, total due, $0. I'm like, yay, $0. So yeah, I'm going to go watch both of those tonight. And actually, I got to leave here pretty soon to go do that. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The next one comes to us from Murray Wright, who writes, does the Blacklist season finale reveal make sense? I don't. You know, I don't know what we can talk about here, but no, it made no sense to me. I mean, it's a big twist, but it feels like it's a big twist just for the sake of having a big twist without it making sense. And I'll be honest, it made no sense to me whatsoever. I didn't like it. Now, considering the whole season had been about getting that duffel bag, and don't worry, guys, for those of you who don't watch The Blacklist, I'll move on to the next topic here quickly, but just, I understood that since the whole season had been about that damn duffel bag, it had to be something big. Whatever the secret was that it contained, it had to be big. Just huge. And the reveal, I won't spoil it for anybody, but the reveal is huge, yes. But it seems like they just used that because they wanted something huge as opposed to something that made sense for the story. And to me, it did not. It really contradicts a lot of stuff that we've seen in previous seasons. So it made no sense to me, but I'm just going to have to wait till the season premiere of next season to see how they're going to make sense out of this. But I will admit, as a fan of the show, it left me with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest with you. Yeah, I was not completely happy with it. Okay, let's move on here. Preston Walden writes, have you seen the trailer for Mandy with Nick Cage? No, but I heard that trailer had just dropped. Isn't it? It's a horror movie, isn't it? If I remember correctly, it's a horror movie. So no, I have not watched it. I remember I saw it in the story because it's been added to the Fantasia Film Festival. So no, I have not seen the trailer yet. I saw that it popped up, but I haven't checked it out. So I'm going to have to check that out here pretty soon. Okay, let's see. Michael Jones writes, I was just listening in my car to Open Mic from Wednesday and had to pull over. You said you were doing Ant-Man and the Wasp spoiler show this Sunday. Movie doesn't open until next Friday, July 6th. Well, yes, but Michael, if you continued listening to that show, that episode, somebody else pointed out, John, it doesn't actually open until next week. I'm like, oh yeah, of course it doesn't open next week. Blah, blah, blah. So if you had finished listening to the show, you would have understood that yes, we already sorted that out on that episode. So yes, not this Sunday, but next Sunday will be my Ant-Man and the Wasp spoiler review after it opens. So yes, we cleared that little misunderstanding up. You know, with so many movies coming, I get mixed up sometimes. Especially sitting here doing a show live. But yeah, I got corrected on that, Michael, so don't you worry. I'm not going to be dropping all the Ant-Man spoilers before the movie even opens. We are going to wait until next Sunday to give everybody a chance to see the movie, and then we will do our spoiler review next Sunday. But thank you for pointing that out. I'm glad you pulled your car over. I don't want you getting any accidents. No hereditary experiences, if you will. Let's see. Clock Penalty writes, Grace Randolph seems to have many vendettas. Whedon, Jessica Chastain, The Rock, now Kathleen Kennedy. Real or for clickbait, you reckon? Well, you know what? Honestly, Clock Penalty, here's the thing. In the past, I have been dragged into like an online discussion thing with Grace Randolph specifically. And I think I was justified in doing so. But here's the thing. Other lesser YouTubers can spend their time talking about other YouTubers. I didn't start a YouTube channel to talk about other YouTubers. That's not why I started a channel. I started a channel because I'm a movie fan and I want to talk about movies. And I want to talk about the things I love and some of the things that frustrate me in the entertainment world too, but I want to talk about the things I love. And sometimes when the things I love that drive me crazy. I don't want to be one of those people that spends my time being a YouTuber talking about other YouTubers. And like I said, I got dragged into a thing with Grace Randolph once. And it's like, you know what? Even now, while I feel I was justified to do so, it's like, what good did that do me? What good did that do anybody? All it is public whining. So I am not going to be one of those people. I have failed at that before. But I think it was because I failed at it before that I realized, you know what? That's not what I want to be. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I work so hard and why I do everything that I do. And I try to develop a fan community, like a movie fan community that I'm a part of as well. Like, that's not why I do this. So I can sit here and bitch and moan and complain about other YouTubers and what they do. That's not what I want to be about. And the reason I'm expressing it that way is because you just took your time clock to send in a question. And I feel like I want to justify to you. I want to make a case to you about why I'm going to decline answering it. Is that, you know, look, somebody wrote in the other day asking me about the rumor out there about how Bob Iger wants to fire Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, I'll talk about the news story, and I talked about the story, and I talked about why I think it's complete BS. I laid out the 3 logical pillars about why that rumor makes no sense whatsoever. But I also said, hey, just to be clear, I'm not bagging on the person who started the rumor. I'm not bagging on Grace Randolph. She says that's what she was told. I believe that's what she was told. I just believe the people who told her are full of BS. They're full of crap. So I wasn't knocking on Grace. That's all you can do as a YouTuber, is just communicate what you've been told. But I will leave it to other people who want to use their space to talk about other YouTubers. It's like, well, if that's what you started your channel for, so you can moan and bitch and whine and complain about what other YouTubers are doing, be my guest. It's just not what I want to be. And I've fallen into it before. And it was because I fell into it before that I just went, you know what? That doesn't feel good. It's not good. That's not why I'm here. And that's not why movie fans, you know, get together on YouTube channels like mine and others to talk about movies, to hear us bitch and complain about each other. I don't want to be that. And I'm sure, because I'm hot-headed and whatever, I'm sure sometime in the future I'll accidentally say something, whatever, and I'm sure, I just hope I catch myself and get myself back on track. I just don't want to be that. I'll let other people be that if that's what they want to be. If that's what makes them feel good about themselves, let them do it. I don't want to be that. So, your question clock penalty, and again, I really feel the need to really elaborate on why I don't want to answer your question. After you so thoughtfully took the time out to send in a question, I just feel like I don't want to answer that because that's just not what I want to be about. So if the question you have about a particular news story, whatever, I'll be happy to elaborate on that. But, you know, I don't want to get baited. I know you're not trying to bait me. I know that. I'm just saying I don't want to get baited into sitting here talking about some other YouTuber. It's just not what I want to do. Let's see here. Oops, we had a bit of a jump. How far down did the jump go? Went down pretty far. Okay. Is this the next one? Yes. Daniel Quintana writes, I just saw Black Swan and Whiplash yesterday. That's a good double header, man. That is a good double header. And love them. Such a great double feature. What are your thoughts on the films? I love them both. I mean, Whiplash obviously got J.K. Simmons his first Academy Award, which was wonderful. It kind of introduced the world to how good of a director Damien Chazelle is. It's great. Black Swan is Black Swan. It's a mind, you know, it messes with your head. It messes around. Some fantastic performances in it. I believe Natalie Portman won her Academy Award for that film, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously great director involved. I mean, it's 2 great movies. I enjoyed both of those movies very, very much. And yeah, that is a hell of a double feature, Daniel. That's a hell of a double feature. That's a good day right there. All right. Mark Blaza writes, call me crazy, but I miss watching the Infinity War movie. I only watched it 4 times in theaters. I'm just wondering, when would they officially release the Blu-ray of the damn movie? Well, generally speaking, 3 months after it releases. So, I forget. Infinity War opened on April 27th, May. So, theoretically speaking, It could open anytime at the end of July. So July 28th, 29th, 30th, early August. So it can open anytime in that window. Remember, the studios have an agreement with movie theaters that they don't release their films on home video for, I believe, a minimum of 12 weeks. Might be more than that. Might be 13, 14, 15 weeks. But it's in that window there somewhere. And so they have that agreement there. So it'll be, I'm guessing at the latest by the end of August. Probably closer to the beginning of August. Maybe even at the very end of July. But I believe in accordance with the terms of the deal between the exhibitors and the studios, that's when it can come out. And I don't think they're going to wait too long. I don't think they're going to wait much longer than they have to wait to release Infinity War on home video. So I think you can expect it to see it early August or very, 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 very end of July. So that's probably where we're going to start seeing that hitting DVD, I believe. Okay, let's see here. What's next? Caleb Bradford writes, have you seen the trailer for Beautiful Boy? It looks amazing. With that and Welcome to Marwen, it seems like Steve Carell is really going for that Oscar. Yeah, we talked earlier in the show. You might just be joining us late, Caleb. We talked a little bit earlier in the show about Beautiful Boy. The trailer's amazing. And look, well, oh damn, what was the movie? What was the name of the movie where he was the wrestling coach? Something Fox. That he did with Channing Tatum. I can't believe I'm forgetting that, but he got an Academy Award nomination for that. He's been nominated for Academy Awards. He is going to win an Academy Award at some point. And definitely Beautiful Boy and Welcome to Marwen both look like films he could get nominated for an Academy Award for. Now, we haven't seen the movie. Maybe he's not all that good in the movie and just looks good in the trailer. Maybe. But just going off the trailer, it looks like he could get nominated for either of these films. Steve Carell is a multiple threat of an actor. He is one of the best comedy actors, and he is an Academy-nominated level dramatic actor as well. Not a lot of those in the business today. Not a lot of those who can truly claim they are probably top 10 best comedy actors and truly legitimately Academy nomination level dramatic actors as well at the same time. Steve Carell's one of those dudes. And all-time favorite comedy, tied with Noises Off, is 40-Year-Old Virgin. So yeah, both of these films look great. That Welcome to Marwen trailer looks so original. Like, I can honestly, it's not often you see a trailer and you go, huh, I have never seen anything quite like that. I've never seen another movie look quite like that. And Welcome to Marwen is one of those trailers. And you're like, I've never quite seen anything like that before. You don't get to say that often as a film fan. And that trailer for Welcome to Marwen certainly gave us that. Okay, let's see. Joshua Toussaint writes, patiently waiting for Kawhi to LA trade. Yeah, it's looking like, look, I'm not a fan of the LA Lakers. All right? Not a fan. Mostly because I've never been a big fan of Kobe. Although I have huge respect for him as a basketball player. Hugely talented dude. But oh my goodness. I'm watching a lot of sports guys who are charting out how in a couple of months we could legitimately have an LA Lakers that has Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and LeBron James. That team goes from the laughing stock of the NBA to legitimate title contender overnight. It's like, it could happen. And you know Kawhi is thinking about that. Kawhi Leonard's thinking about that. And you know LeBron James is thinking about that. And you know Paul George is thinking. Let's see if they actually pull it off. But it would be pretty impressive if they do. All right, guys. I'm going to do 2 more questions today. And then, guys, don't worry about it. All of you who have sent in a live question, don't you worry. I'm going to take those and I'm going to put them on tomorrow morning's companion video. The latest companion video went up this morning. If you guys didn't see that, it's up there now. You can find that on my YouTube channel. But I will take all the questions that got sent in here that I don't have time to get to, and I will put them on the companion video first thing tomorrow morning, long before the John Campea show airs. So don't worry, your questions will get answered. So we're just going to finish off with 2 more here. What movie did you not appreciate when you were younger, but grew on you as you got older? Mr. Holland's opus for me. Mine was The Godfather. Because The Godfather was before my time. And I remember seeing it, I was too young the first time I saw it. And I just like, it looked like some bunch of old guys in hats talking in like, sounding like my grandfather. Like, I didn't get it. I like, well, whatever. And then as I got older, I'm watching like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. The Godfather is the greatest thing ever. And so that's definitely one to me that jumped in. Mr. Holland's Opus, it's funny that you mentioned that one, Luke, because I've had other people say the same thing to me before. I've been in conversation where somebody said, you know, I watched Mr. Holland's Opus again. I didn't realize how good that was. Like, I don't remember liking it that much, blah, blah, blah. So that one's come up to me before. But yeah, for me, I had that definite experience with The Godfather. But it's just a good example of a movie that I don't even know how I watched it. When I was probably like 13 or something, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. So, that's Godfather, that's dumb. And then I watched it again like later, and it's like, ah! Anyway, so that's the one for me. All right, final question of the day comes to us from Murray Reich, who writes, the Netflix shows shouldn't be connected to the MCU at all because they aren't even mentioned on the big screen. Plus, they are more mature than their counterparts. Just saying there was an incident is silly. Oh no, I'm completely agree with you. I don't even know. Like, for all intents and purposes, they pretend like they're not in the same universe anyway. For all intents and purposes, they practically treat the Netflix shows like they're not a part of the MCU, except for the odd little vague, the incident reference. And some blurred out newspaper article that's on a wall in the back. Other than that, they are in no way connected. So why even pretend like they are? You know, somebody emailed me and was kind of complaining and saying like, you know, the Spider-Man thing doesn't make any sense. Like, Luke Cage from season 1 was all over the TV. Was all over TV. But Iron Man goes, oh, I saw some YouTube footage of this kid who seems to maybe have some superpowers. I'm going to go recruit him. Why wouldn't he go after an invincible, invulnerable giant man like Luke Cage? I mean, it's ridiculous. Or why, when Luke Cage is all over the TV taking out cops in the streets, remember he's destroying cop cars and all that kind of stuff? And it looked bad. I mean, obviously, he's a hero. He wasn't trying to do anything wrong, but from the optics where it was bad, why did none of the Avengers show up? Why did none of the superpower beings show up to stop this superpowered meta in the streets destroying cop cars? It is kind of silly and ridiculous. Now, I don't believe the Netflix shows are more mature than the MCU movies, not at all, especially after you come out of a movie like Infinity War. But yeah, I just don't see any reason why you should even pretend like they're connected. Just let the MCU movies do their thing and let the Netflix shows do their thing. Stop pretending that they're even remotely connected. I've never really understood that, to be honest with you. All right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of Open Mic. I went a little longer than I intended on, but that's okay because these have been some really good questions. Thanks a lot for joining me. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow morning, first of all, we got a companion video going up. On top of that, we got the John Campea Show at 8:30. A little bit later tonight, I'll probably try to get my review for Sicario 2 posted. That'll be up late, so you might want to check it out in the morning. It'll be up later tonight as well. Lots of stuff going on here on the show. Don't forget, guys, if you live anywhere near San Diego, Comic-Con is coming up, and I've got my annual panel at Comic-Con, which I'm going to be doing a little bit of a meet and greet right after the panel as well. So make sure you come on down, be a part of that. We're talking about movies in general, but specifically my main theme this year is talking about how it doesn't matter if you don't want to do it for a living, but as film fans, you should start your own YouTube channel or podcast or blog to contribute to the film fan community. You don't have to be trying to do it for a living or anything like that, but we are going to be talking about starting and growing your own YouTube channel to contribute to the fan community in a positive way. That's what we're doing. I've got great guests to help me along the way. Someone who works at Google, the president of the Los Angeles Online Film Critics Society, a dude from the Fine Brothers, all going to be there talking about starting and developing your own stuff. Make sure you plan on being there. It's going to be a really good time. All right, guys, that will do it for me. Thanks a lot for joining me. My name's John Campea, and until my next video, bye-bye.